can't tell you, I mean, I just stopped it.
Okay, do I need to go another hour?
If you want.
But I'll have to.
No, I have to.
Oh, okay, because I ain't got but a few more scriptures. But just like I said, it's very important. Keep that in mind. Fellowship is so important. Especially, let me ask y'all something. Do y'all see the times that we're living in?
That's right. Oh, yeah.
Maureen Cassava sent me a link on Messenger last week, and it just blew my mind. These folk got a baby drop box, a drop-off box. If you, like a woman have a baby and she don't want the child, she take it to the box and put it in the box and go on.
And they add it with a picture with a woman smiling.
Exactly. But where y'all think these drop-off boxes gonna be? In the hood? I guarantee you they won't be over there in Niski Lake or whatever it's called.
They took that picture down.
Did they?
Yeah, it says, we're sorry the page you're looking for cannot be found. But you can still see the link like from the side by sending it. But you click on
And
it.
it's in Indiana, right? That's the first one.
Screenshot of it.
Because let me tell y'all something. They put these things in your neighborhood. I guarantee where you won't find one at. Right down here, downtown Decatur. You won't see a baby drop box. Not down here. But you keep going over across Memorial. And going over in our neighborhoods. Eventually you'll find one. A baby drop box. Y'all. Do y'all realize or understand what the world is coming to?
And then also, I don't know if you sent the other video about the water.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And Maury also sent another video out. Did y'all see the video of this?
It's a Walmart.
It's a Walmart.
It's not a Walmart brand, but
It's not a Walmart brand, but
Arrowhead, yeah.
Arrowhead water.
Yeah.
And this lady, she has a bowl laying on the table, and she poured the water out of the bottle into the bowl. And it looks like liquid. It just looks like regular water. When she put her hands in it, guess what? The water turned to some kind of rubber or plastic. Yeah, at first I thought it was ice, but it seems like it was rubbery.
Yeah, I thought it was slush at first.
Wait. What kind of water is that? That's the elastic water.
The one not to drink. That's the one not to drink. And but see, we don't understand. Just imagine the person or individual drinking that water. You don't know what it's doing on the inside of your body. I mean, this water looks like regular water you pouring out of a bottle. Lady put her hand in the bowl. All of the water just turned to like rubber and rubbery and plastic.
Somebody is the devil.
You got that right. And I can about tell you who they are. This one of our, like ISUPK. You know who that is. Let me tell you something. Greed will do a lot. Greed will cause people to do a lot of things. And they don't care how it affects you. Let me tell you, the Most High knew what we were going to be dealing with in these last days. Did he say you would drink deadly poison? He knew that the devil, or Shaitan, was going to be over this system. His people were going to be ruling and operating. And that's what we have to be very careful. And this is the time, this is the time we need to come together. We should be coming together. And I keep telling y'all, this is why we have to prepare. I'm going to say it one more time. I'll tell you what, I'm going to get to that in the end. Let's go to Ephesians 2 and 11. Ephesians 2 and 11.
So more again, said a lot of those waters were bad, and they was leaving the plastic inside of the water. I forgot the name of the ingredients, but it was making a lot of men impotent. lowering the sperm counts. Because some of the waters had estrogen in it. Some of it had too much estrogen in the water, giving women fibroids. So it's getting to the point now where you have young girls, young ladies now up in their early 20s, starting to develop fibroids already.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're really killing us. So we have to really be careful with everything that we're drinking. It was Dasani water. It was,
That's your favorite.
it was a lot of these well-known waters.
So is it just hitting us or no? Is it just,
United States.
no, I'm saying us.
A lot of stuff is geared towards certain neighborhoods, but this is like mass population control now.
Oh, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Not just us.
But you know who's for who.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, much rings.
And there was another video I saw, you didn't send it, but someone shared it on my Facebook, and it was involving, once again, Walmart, and the lady was pretty much saying that you need to check your water bottles, because when she opened the package, she noticed that all her water bottles had little holes
Holes in them.
Right.
in the top, and she was pouring them out. And obviously, if water is exposed like that for a long period of time, things can leak inside, and you're drinking that.
Yeah.
So, this is very, very unhealthy.
So we see in the book of Joshua, we're going to come back to this, y'all, that circumcision became a what? Did we finish reading that?
Yes.
Ephesians 2 and 11.
Yeah. But we saw what, before they entered into the land of Canaan, Joshua and Israel, they had to be circumcised. Again, so circumcision became what? When it was a token of the covenant, and that became a right to enter into the land. Now, let's go to Ephesians, the 2nd chapter, starting at the 11th verse.
Ephesians 2 and 11. Wherefore remember that you, being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision, by which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at that time you were without the Mashiyach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without Elohim in the world, but now in the Mashiyach, you who sometimes were far off are made near by the blood of the Mashiyach. For he, the Mashiyach, is our peace, who have made both one, and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us, having abolished in his flesh the hate or the enmity, even the law of commandments or contained in ordinances. 15 again. Having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, for to make in himself of twain one new man, so making peace, so that he might reconcile both unto Elohim in one body, by the cross, having slain the enmity thereby, or the enmity himself, and came and preached peace to you which were afar off, and to them that were near. For through him we both have access to one Ruach unto the Father. Now therefore you are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and the household of Elohim, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, the Mashiyach himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building offspring together groweth unto the set-apart temple in Yahuah, in whom you also are built together for the habitation of Elohim through the Ruach.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
He says, wherefore remember that ye in times past were Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which what is called circumcision. So we have one group called what? Uncircumcision by another group called what?
Circumcision.
Would these be nations or heathens, or would this be Israel? Israel we're talking about here.
Israel.
So you're looking at what? The house of Israel, the house of Yahudah. Very important. Is there anybody who in here who doesn't understand that? Or what this is talking about? It says, wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh. Gentiles in the flesh. What was it saying they were being Gentiles in the flesh?
Because it was uncircumcised.
Not that they were uncircumcised, not only that, but
They was following the ways of the Gentiles.
they were following the custom practice of the Gentiles, who were called uncircumcision by that which is called circumcision in the flesh, made by hands. It says that at the time you were what? Without Mashiyach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Yashra'al, and strangers from the covenant of promise. There goes that word, covenant of promise. What made them strangers from the covenant of promise?
Unbelief.
Okay, now who is it saying was strangers from the covenant of promise?
Say that one more time.
Who is it saying that was strangers from of the covenant of promise? Strangers to the covenant of promise. Israel, all of Israel, or just
Northern Kingdom.
so just Northern Kingdom?
Those following just the law.
Scattered.
Okay, the scattered.
Well, those that didn't believe, because there was those that wasn't scattered that didn't believe either.
Right, exactly. It wasn't just Northern Kingdom or those that were scattered. It was all of them. Because this is why the message is so much contention between who the Pharisees, Sadducees, and the apostles there. The contention between them. It's a having no hope and without Yahuah or Elohim in the world. But now in Mashiyach, Yahusha, ye what? Who was sometimes far off are made now by what? The blood of Mashiyach. Who was the far off?
Those that were called Gentiles.
Those that were called Gentiles or the house of Israel, those that were scattered. And plus, you do know you had Yahudim that were scattered as well.
Mm-hmm.
It is for he is our peace. He had what? Who have made both one. Who's the both that he made one?
Two houses.
The two houses. And has broken down the what? Middle wall of partition between them. What was the middle wall of partition between them?
Circumcision. Was it a circumcision?
What?
Circumcision?
No, circumcision. It wasn't the middle wall.
The book of the law.
Book of the law, whatever.
I thought that was the answer.
Yeah, it will fall under the book of the law. Where the veil was a partition, but what was the veil?
Works.
I suppose, let's go back to the physical, not the natural. Where was the veil?
In the temple.
In the temple. What took place in the temple?
Sacrifices.
What was behind the veil? What was behind the veil?
The ark.
I thought.
Father.
Yeah, the ark of the
The high priest.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? The high priest.
The problem was behind it. He could only enter behind the veil at a certain time. So it was the covenant. It was the book of the covenant. You had the Ark of the Covenant. Where did Yahuah dwell?
And the holies of holies.
On the center part place between the wings of the cherubim, we went right.
Right.
So, who gave you access to that part, to the center part?
Mashiyach.
Mashiyach Yahusha.
From the holies.
What did it speak about early in the verse? When it talks about the veil, was it speaking of what? That was a natural veil, but what? When it was rented, when was it rented?
When Mashiyach.
When Mashiyach was, yeah. You remember because it gave a comparison of his flesh, speaking of him in the flesh. So, it was what? The middle wall of petition. Because only one person can have access behind the veil, right?
Yes. The high priest.
And what did he go behind the veil for?
To intercede.
How? Y'all
Sacrifices.
sacrifice. He had to take what behind the veil?
The lamb. With the veil on his own.
No, he had to take the blood. He had to. I'm about to be Dr. Hudson, the dentist, saying I got the 14. He had to take the blood and apply it. So, Mashiyach being what? The sacrifice. He was the veil, the high priest. He's all of it. So the middle wall that was torn out. What separated? Now, with something good being moved out of the way, now Yashra'al, now we have access what? Into the set apart place. Yeah, because all before, what was it? Only the high priest could have access. So Yahusha did something to give us access or grant us access. So he moved the middle wall of partition between us, having abolished in the flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained, that's the key word, the law of commandments contained in what? Ordinances. What laws and commandments were contained in ordinances? Now you sitting right by where somebody he had just gave you the answer.
The book of the Lord, right?
Okay, but of all of the book of the law?
The sacrifice.
The sacrifices.
You know, you be making this sound real hard.
But forgive me, because you can't just say the book of the law. Because not all of the book of the law was commandments contained in ordinances.
Right, but when I say the book of the law, I understand that. That's why when I be saying the book of the law.
But when you say book of the law, you're speaking of the book of the law as a whole.
I feel you.
But it specifically said what? The commandments contained in ordinances.
So the sacrifices.
Yeah. Hallelujah. For to make himself, O twain, one new man and making peace. And that he might what? Reconcile both unto Yahuah in one body by the cross, having slain the enmity thereby. He said, and came and preached peace unto you which were what? Are far off, and to them that were nigh. So most time when we read these letters, and we read the epistles of Shaul, most time we think he's speaking to what? The house of Israel or the Gentiles or those that were scattered. But you got to realize the Yahudim was off too. That's why when James wrote what he said, to the 12 tribes, what? To the 12 tribes which is scattered abroad. The Yahudim, they weren't on point. Okay, let's go jump into the last one. Hebrews, the 8th chapter. We're going to start at the first verse to the 13th verse. Greeks. The 8th chapter.
things which we have spoken, this is the sum. We have such an high priest, who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in Shamayim, or the heavens, a minister of the sanctuary of the true tabernacle, which Yahuah pitched and not man.
Stop right there. So say a minister of the sanctuary and the what? True tabernacle. So we learned that everything that's down here, or the tabernacle we had, it was patterned after what?
What was in Shammai?
What was in Shamayim. Go ahead, Warren.
A minister of the sanctuary of the true tabernacle, which Yahuah pitched, and not man. For every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices. Wherefore it is of a necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer. For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law.
Stop right there. It said, for if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law. Who offered gifts according to the law? The Levim or the Levites. That's very important. Go ahead, Mark.
Verse 5. Who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moshe was admonished of Elohim when he was about to make the tabernacle. For saith he, that thou make all things according to the pattern showed to thee in the mount. But now hath he attained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant or testament, which was established upon better promises.
Stop right there. Moshe or Moses was the mediator of what? Of a covenant. Mashiyach is what? Is also the mediator of a covenant, but of a better covenant, which is established on what?
Better promises.
Better promises. Go ahead, Warren.
Verse 7. For if the first, they have covenant in italics, but if the first had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he said, before the days come, saith Yahuah, I will make a new covenant with the house of Yashra'al and the house of Judah.
Stop right there. He said, for if the first had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. Now, Maury said something very important right there. He said, for if the first, when you see that word covenant is not there. That was placed there by the author or the translator. So it said, for if the first had been faultless, was there fault in the covenant or was there fault with the people? The fault was with the people. The covenant did not make them disobey. It said, for if the first had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. Go back to verse 8, Maureen.
For finding fault with them, he said, before the days come, saith Elohim, or Yahuah, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Yashra'al and the house of Judah.
He said, for finding fault with them. Is that showing y'all something?
Yep.
It's not the covenant that was the problem.
It's the people.
It was the them. It was the finding fault. He said, if the first one had been what? Been faultless. So what is this he's talking about, and referring to?
The golden calf.
Hmm?
You talking about the golden calf?
Right. He's talking about the institution, or not so much the Levite, but mainly he's speaking of the high priest. But what was the problem with the nation of Yashra'al? Did they have righteous high priests?
No.
Did not sometimes the high priest cause the people to what?
To sin.
To sin or error, or to walk in error? He said finding fault with them. It wasn't the covenant. Go ahead, Mark.
For finding fault with them, he said, before the days come, said Elohim, well, I will make a new covenant with the house of Yashra'al and the house of Judah.
That's key. He said, I'll make a new covenant with the house of Yashra'al and the house of Judah. So when people tell you that they're under the new covenant, if they're not the house of Yashra'al, the house of Judah, they are. He said, I'm going to make a new covenant with who?
The house of Yashra'al.
The house of Yashra'al and the house of Judah. That's both houses, that's 12 tribes. Go ahead, Mark.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith Yahuah. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Yashra'al after those days, saith Elohim or Yahuah. I will put or give my laws into their mind, and write them upon or in their hearts, and I will be to them an Elohim, and they should be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahuah. For all shall know him, from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness and their sins, and their iniquities will I remember no more. In that he saith, a new covenant, again is in italics, he made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away.
That's good right there, Mark. He said, for this covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said Yahuah, I will put my laws in their minds and write them in their hearts. He first said he was going to put them in their hearts and write them in their minds. But this time he said he's going to do what?
Wait, what? Mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Right in your heart.
He said he's going to this time he's going to what? Put them in their mind and write them in their heart. Y'all remember we read earlier, he said he was going to what? Put them in their heart and write them in their mind. Hallelujah. But we see something going on here. So what you have to focus on here is this thing is very personal. You see this covenant all the way through. You keep reading about Yashra'al, Yashra'al. Yashra'al did this. Yashra'al broke this. He's in the covenant of Yashra'al. So when we read these things, I like to focus and keep it Yashra'al. Because if we're not careful, we find ourselves allowing people and things an opportunity to infiltrate a relationship and something that's going on between Yahuah and his people. And I would tell people, a lot of people just, because they don't know who Yashra'al is, they think they are really getting ready to have a good time. They think they're fixing to have a shindig because they let me tell you, we fix to go on to heaven, we fix to live happily ever after. Yeah. Now think of that now. Everybody on this earth know what has happened to a certain group of people. To this day, this same group of people are treated like dirt. And I also like to read like in Daniel when it talks about the different kingdoms made of the different metals. Y'all will find it strange that one of those metals was ever Israel. Mm-hmm. But Israel was in captivity every last one of those metals or those kingdoms. I wonder why. All of these people have had their run. They've had their reign. So the millennial, or what we call the millennial reign, whose kingdom is it? It's Yahuwah's kingdom. Who you think gonna be reigning in that kingdom? His people. And it is so strange. I get so tired. I turn on YouTube, and I need to stay off of it, to be honest. You got all these people, they just, especially Hebrew roots movement, and I'm like, you looking at these people, and they talking this, that, and the other. And one thing about the Hebrew root movement, I would say, they teach some good teaching, so to speak, but one teaching that they will never teach. They will not touch who the people are. You never see that teaching come out of the Hebrew group movement. But one thing you'll see is all about Yahuah, and his kingdom, a covenant people. And you look at these people, they got all kind of wealth, they live in lavish. And the very people, Yah people, or Yahuwah's people, still on the bottom. But these are the very people that they're going to live and walk side by side with you, and be equal with you, and be, as they say, hunky-dory with you.
Well,
It's not going to happen like that.
Can't do it now, we won't be able to do it.
Exactly. They don't even want to be bothered with you now, so how are they going to live in a kingdom with you? Different minds? Different colors? It is so crazy. It's one of those things where we as a people, we have to stand up for what's rightly ours. And we have to always keep in the forefront of our mind that, it's about Yahuwah, it's about his people. And I'm not saying he's going to neglect other people. For all I do know what I read, he said that New Jerusalem was going to descend. He said there's going to be 4 walls surrounding it. He said there's going to be 3 gates in each one of those 4 walls. And inscribed in those walls was going to be what?
12
The names of the 12 tribes of Israel. So everybody will have a gate to go through. So I'm wondering what gate these folks go. I don't know which gate they're going through. Because he's going to separate his. He's going to separate his people. He always has, and he's going to do it again. So we need to start looking forward to this. And I tell you, when you watch the news, you got to know, like, wow, these people are really against us. And I'm not just talking about, I don't think I'm just talking about white people. Because it's easy to think I am, or we do, or we are. But no, we've been done wrong by a lot of people, all nations. But most of what you see is that one nation on the forefront and what they're doing. And really, if we tell the truth, they really are just the last of these nations. Because all the other ones got their dirt out of the way. Now you're dealing with the last one before the Most High get ready to come test them behind up. And it's just so important that we realize what's going on. I think they shot another brother down, wasn't this week?
Yeah, on his own backyard.
In his backyard,
Right, yep.
with a phone in the van.
Go ahead. Shot it 20 times.
Yep.
20 times.
They didn't handcuff it.
They didn't handcuff it up, sure did.
But they did. What is he
I know, right? And they got this thing set up so now, right. And I mean, they got this thing so now to where you don't find it strange every cop got the same, come on. And what's the first thing come out of their mouth? I fear for my life. And once they say, I fear for my life,
They can shoot you.
and it's going to stand up in court. Does it not stand up in court every time?
Yep. I'll let you say that.
Right. They don't give, you say it.
Mm-hmm.